even get to cross.
What's going on, everybody? Jolt here from the Token Minorities, and I am back with my Week 8 battle of the GBA D-League. This week we are against Aberforth, a very good friend of mine, and his Newcastle Umbreon. Always a really exciting matchup whenever I face him, as I really do feel like we are very similar in terms of battling ability. He might even have a little edge on me on that side of things, but even so, it's always a really, really good match, and this one definitely is no different. Now, you will notice, I'm sure, this is on Showdown this week, unfortunately, due to some scheduling conflicts, and basically Abe is just in a different continent than where he usually is, so that usually makes, Wi-Fi a little bit difficult, so that's why you see Showdown here this week, so I do apologize for that if you were looking for a Wi-Fi battle, but Showdown's okay too, I think. So let's go ahead and dive into this team preview a little bit. Of course, I guess before I do that, make sure to go check out Abe. I never said to go do that. He's a pretty cool dude. He's technically a member of the TokenMinorities as well, despite the fact that he hasn't uploaded in a long time, but still go check him out. He's definitely a cool dude, and especially if you like listening to a British accent, that would be a guy to go check out. So now let's take a look at this team preview here, as my opponent Abe decided to bring the Mamoswine Mega Beedrill, Jirachi, Rotom Ghost Superior, and the Miltank, while I brought a pretty cool squad as well. If you haven't already seen the team builder showing the details of the sets on this team, make sure to go check that out as well if you're interested in that, as I do go into a lot of detail on the strategy for this battle, as whenever I play someone the caliber of Abe, the battling caliber of Abe, I really do feel like I have to go into an extra level of team prep, and like I said in the team builder, I personally believe that Abe is at least tied for the strongest pure battler in the league, so I really went all out on this team build to make sure that my prep can overcome any sort of gap there might be in our battling abilities, if there is one, I don't know. But regardless, Abe is someone to not mess around with, despite the fact that his record has not been too hot this season. So, just to very briefly go over the team that I brought here, I am bringing a Scolipede, which is a Spikes set to take advantage of the fact that Abe generally does not bring hazard removal. He has a Crobat that could potentially run Defog, not on this team, obviously. He also has this Mega Beedrill that actually learns Defog, but he's not going to run Defog on his Mega Beedrill, so Hazard Stack is definitely on deck here for this game with this Scolipede. It has Dual Stab as well as Rocky MZ Rock Slide in case he brought the Crobat, as Crobat is the most likely initial switch into a Scolipede that has revealed Spikes. So that was going to be means of luring that in, but because he didn't have that, or didn't bring that to this game, the Crobat that is, I can just save the Rocky MZ Continental Crush for the Rotom potentially if that case comes up. So that's the Scolipede. The Mew is Choice Scarfed. It is, it has just good coverage moves against a team. It has like Volt Switch, it has Aura Sphere Psychic, and Fire Blast, which basically hits everything that he brought, so that's a pretty good sign. You're definitely, I think it actually hit his entire team, at least neutrally, which is good. I'm sure it did, at least neutrally. So basically, the game plan here is to win with that Mew late game, and if Mew is not able to win, then I need to have a secondary win condition, obviously, and that secondary win condition is this Cobalion, which is Double Dance with a Shuka Berry. It has Zen Headbutt and Close Combat, which does hit his entire team, at least neutrally as well. The issues being the Jirachi and the Rotom Ghost, but if both of those are able to get weakened, Cobalion can absolutely win by setting up on Miltank, Mamoswine, or the Mega Beedrill, so either Mew or Cobalion is intended to win this game. Now, I have the Seismitoad, which is Rocky Helmet. It is mixed defensive, primarily Fizz Def to deal with a potential Emboar. Bring most notably a Scarfed Emboar just in case, as that would be probably the scariest Emboar he could bring, as my team would be able to naturally outspeed any other variants. So yeah, this was basically here to make sure that didn't nuke me. He didn't bring it though, so that's definitely nice. It's also my Stealth Rocker, and as I already mentioned, Hazard Stack is on deck for this battle. Now I have the Mega Kangaskhan, which is dual priority Adamant, max attack. Very little bulk actually, it's just speedy and Adamant to hit him as hard as possible. All of its coverage moves outside of Fake Out, so I have Fake Out, Sucker Punch, I also have Earthquake and Crunch. So all of my non-priority moves plus Sucker Punch hit his most likely switch-ins to Kangaskhan as hard as possible. So this is why I didn't bring Return. I think that, or the reason why I didn't bring Return is that he was going to either bring Rocky Helmet Alolan Persian, which Return isn't going to do much to anyways, or he's going to bring maybe Rocky Helmet Miltank, which again, he can just slack off, he can just Milk Drink off damage from a Return, and I just wear myself down over time and it's not really getting me anywhere, or he brings maybe Rocky Helmet on Jirachi. And in all cases, it is better for me to have non-stab and just have Earthquake and Crunch to either hit all those without taking Rocky Helmet damage, or in the case of Jirachi, which I felt was the most likely Rocky Helmet user, it would allow me to hit it super effectively and very hard, and by getting rid of Jirachi, it really frees up Cobalion and Mew late game. So that was the idea behind the Mega Kangaskhan. And finally, the Torrentee, which is a pretty cool spread. Definitely go check that out if you want to see it in the team builder. This set is Toxic. It's Toxic, it has Hurricane, Heat Wave, and Knockoff. Basically, it is designed to be a guaranteed switch into Superior, a guaranteed check to Superior no matter what set it is. It can be Subseed, it can be Scarf, it can be like freaking Specs if it wants to be. Regardless, this Torn can beat it because it's also holding leftovers, which ensures that I'll be able to not only deal with the Superior, but also potentially deal with whatever he's going to offensively revenge me with after I get a knockout with this Tornadus. As with the leftovers recovery, it actually takes me outside of range of hits from Crobat and Mega Beedrill and etc. So that's the team that we're running this week. Let's go ahead and hop right on into the battle here, as I am actually doing this in OBS, so sorry if this comes across awkwardly. I think I got it. And he leads off with his Jirachi as I lead off with the Mega Kangaskhan. This was my guaranteed lead in this game just because I felt like it matched up well against all 11 mons he could possibly lead with, and it allows me to very possibly weaken down this Jirachi immediately, which is so good for my Mew late game. His Scarf Mew is super good, hits his entire team neutrally with Psychic as soon as I'm able to get rid of this Jirachi, and he lets me take out the Jirachi on turn 2 with a Sucker Punch. So off to a very good start here immediately in this game, as now he is going to send in his Miltank. I sniff out the rocks here. He's definitely going for rocks now with this, since he didn't try to do it with Jirachi earlier, so I'm going to go hard into my own Seismitoad just to get on my own rocks as well. I know he's going to try to go into Superior, but regardless, rocks is my best play. Now here I'm going to go into my Torrentee because no matter what set he is, this is designed to be able to beat it, even if he has Glare, which he does happen to have. It's fine. I can take the Glare. I'm going to be paralyzed, but I still have the leftovers recovery. I still immediately threaten him with a potential U-turn. I still immediately threaten him with a Heat Wave or even a Hurricane here on this turn as he decides to go hard into his Mamoswine. So now I'm kind of concerned on what kind of Mamoswine this is. It could very well be Assault Vest based upon how he played it there on that turn, but it could also be a variety of other sets. As I go into my all-purpose switch in the Cobalion with the Sugar Berry, I knew I could take any hit as he just goes for a knockoff, revealing to potentially be Adamant Nature based upon the damage roll. So now I'm thinking this very well might be Choice Scarfed if he is an Adamant Mamoswine. I don't think he would run Adamant Assault Vest. I think it's possible, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's possible, but regardless, I'm torn between Scarf and Assault Vest at this stage in the game. Now here I'm going to go hard into my Seismitoad on the Rotom, predicting either the Will-O-Wisp or the Bold Switch. Either way, this was my immediate switch into it because it allows me to fire off either a Toxic or a Scald, trying to begin the process of whittling down those things that are able to switch into my Mew later in the game. So I fire out the Toxic on the incoming Miltank. Because he went hard Miltank on the likely Toxic, I expect a Heal Bell, so I'm going to take this as an opportunity to go straight into my Scolipede and start getting up some layers here, as if I can get up those spikes, it will not take much time at all before the Mew is actually able to clean up this game in the end. So I'm going to set up that first spike. He goes for a Body Slam, and in typical Abe fashion, he paras and full paras me on the next turn, so, you know, that's just how it goes. But I'm going to be able to, after getting full parried on this turn, get off a last-ditch effort Mega Horn, revealing he's actually a Rocky Helmet Miltank. If he had gone for a Milk Drake on this turn, that would have been kind of bad, but I didn't think he would make that play, fearing in more spikes coming up on my side of the field, or on his side of the field rather, so I felt like Mega Horn was safe, and by going for the Mega Horn there, it ensures that after Entry Hazard damage, it will not be able to switch into anything else on my entire team, so that's pretty crucial, I think. Now here I'm just going to go for the safe close combat with the Cobalion, just because even if the Rotom comes in, it forces out the Miltank, putting it in range of stuff later on, so I felt like there was no reason to over-predict and go for his in Headbutt, even if the Rotom switch was very obvious. I'm going to go back into my Seismitoad on the Rotom, on the Rotom's Will-O-Wisp rather here. Again, very obvious, but not a big deal because I can just go for the Scald with my Seismitoad on the incoming Miltank, and because he's already been revealed to be mainly special or physically defensive, the Scald was essentially guaranteed to be able to take him out from that range, I thought. So now I'm going to go back into my Torrentee on the Superior that forces out my Seismitoad as he sets up a Sub. So he is some really freaking cancer. He's a really cancer Superior set here in this game with Sub, Leech Seed, and Glare. Undoubtedly Leaf Storm as the last move So basically what I need to do in this scenario is to get the Superior weakened into guaranteed range of my Mew's Fire Blast. And I'm going to have to take a few risks with paralysis here in this process, as well as find a way to make sure he's not behind a sub. Not behind a sub whenever I go into the Mew, because if he's behind a sub when I go into Mew, I'm kind of screwed. So this is definitely, I feel, his win condition in this game, just based upon how his team has played out. This is his offensive win condition, and I think the Rotom is his defensive win condition, so I have to try to work around those Pokemon to try to win with my Mew here later in the game. So basically what I need to do is get my Mega Kangaskhan in on this Superior on a turn where he goes for a sub, which I expect to be now, as he does indeed actually go for the sub, so that worked out pretty well. So I get my Mega Kangaskhan in. Because I am adamant max attack, I am guaranteed to be able to break his substitute with a Fake Out, and if he decides to go for potentially another sub on the next turn, I can still go for a Sucker Punch on the following turn if I need to, or perhaps I might still be able... There was also a chance, I guess, that I could have gotten broken the substitute with the second hit of Fake Out and still flinched him, and in that case I would have been in a very good position where I could just spam Crunch and he wouldn't be able to sub on me again. As here I'm going to Revenge Kill with the Mew, getting a little behind myself. This is moving a lot faster than the Wi-Fi, not used to this. At least I haven't done this since the NPL ended, but regardless, I'm going to sack off my Torn now to the Rotom, because Torn is proven to be the least useful member of the team with the Superior now gone. Now I can go into my Seismitoad here. Let me actually pause. Okay, I can actually pause when we're doing Showdown battles. This is great. So, something to talk about here. That was actually a pretty crucial play in the game, and it might not really seem as crucial when you're just looking through it the first time through. So, right here, like I already talked about, we knocked out the Superior with the Mew with the Fire Blast, revealing Unchoice Scarf. Okay, cool. So now he goes into his Rotom. Okay, now the end game is in sight for me. The Mamoswine, after entry hazards, is in range, guaranteed, of Psychic if it is Choice Scarf. If it is a Assault Vest variant, then it's not going to be able to outspeed my Cobalion, and the combination Mew Cobalion can win the game pretty easily, I feel, at this stage in the game if he is Assault Vest Mamoswine. But based upon how he's playing it, and how he's kind of holding it in the back as a win condition, I think he's most likely Choice Scarfed, as that would be a way to offensively check the Cobalion. Otherwise, he doesn't really have anything to do that. So now I'm playing this game as if it is a Choice Scarfed Mamoswine, most likely. That's one thing. Secondly, if you look at the health this Rotom is at now, after he forces me out, I assume leftovers, I think he's already revealed leftovers at this stage a few times, he's going to be hovering around 94% or so. And basically, he's getting himself back up to full health each time he comes in and forces something out because of the leftovers recovery. So the situation here is that I know he has Pain Split. I know he has Hex. I know he has Will-O-Wisp. This is just the set that was 100% coming if he brought Rotom. I need to be able to put myself in a position where I do not lose to the combination of Pain Split from this Rotom plus Ice Shard from Mamoswine, and I need to be put in a position where I am able to guaranteed 2-hit KO this Rotom, which I anticipate to be physically defensive based upon how he has been switching it hard into my Cobalion throughout the game. So what this means is that I need my Mew to take another round of Stealth Rock damage to make sure that is guaranteed. So while I technically could have stayed in here with my Mew on this turn to get off the damage on the Rotom, it's in my best interest to not only switch out so I don't miss a Fire Blast, but also to put my Mew into a position where a Pain Split plus, basically in a position where after a Pain Split my Psychic still 2-hit KOs him, whereas not recovering as much health as he would have if I had only taken one round of Stealth Rock damage. So that's the thought process. Moving on. So I'm going to switch out into my Torn T, sacking it off because it's not super useful with the Superior gone. Torn T served its purpose, switching into that as many times as it needs to, and it can go away. Now here, I'm going to go hard into my Seismitoad because it's going to force out the Rotom and basically give me even a better chance of being able to knock it out with two Psychics. And I'm just going to go for a Toxic just in case he wants to stay in, as of course the Toxic latent damage on the Rotom would be valuable, basically guaranteeing my Mew winning here later in the game. But he makes a good play going into his Beedrill on the Toxic. He goes for a return and crits my Seismitoad, which might have mattered considering I got the burn, but you know, hacks for hacks, I guess. Regardless, we are going to double down here as the Mega Beedrill is going to fire off a U-turn, and the Seismitoad goes down as the Mega Beedrill goes down to the Rocky Helmet. So Seismitoad actually got its first 2 kills of the season here in this game, which is pretty cool. But now we can go into the Mew, and I will pause again briefly, as this was a double down, obviously. And in a sense, it's a 50-50. Not really for me, but for him, it's more 50-50. Whereas he only had like one play I think he could make to where he could possibly win the game, and that was expecting my Mew to not outspeed his Scarf Mamoswine. So I think he went into the Mamoswine just to, or I don't know. I think it might have been checkmate at this point, actually. Regardless, I think he went into the Mamoswine hoping that he would outspeed my Mew here, but because I am Choice Scarfed, I am going to outspeed and guaranteed knock him out, and because I'm now down to 76% with my Mew, the Pain Split from the Rotom will not give him back enough health to where he'll be able to stay outside of range of a second one. As you can see, the first one is 66%, and he goes for a Pain Split, gets back up to 56%, so if I had been basically any higher amount of health, he actually had a small chance to be able to take that hit, the second hit, but regardless, I still, of course, had the Cobalion in the back to be able to finish it off if he was able to do that. But anyways, we end up winning this game. We played it at the last possible minute, but really glad we were able to get it in. Of course, a very good game to my opponent, Abe. We always have really close matches. This one was definitely no different. The prep came through on my end with the Scarf Mew, and the Cobalion didn't really get to do its thing, but it definitely could have if the game had played out a little bit more differently. If I didn't see such a clean end game for the Mew, then I would have played differently with the Cobalion and tried to win with that potentially, but the prep worked out pretty well here for us. So the big news about this game, all right, the very big news about this game is this puts us at 6-2 plus 11. And that means, due to other results this week, we are guaranteed in the playoffs. So we are in the playoffs. We don't know our seed yet, but there's a couple other guaranteed playoff teams at this point. They are, I guess, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, don't just like look away, click off. They are 6-Foot Hacks and Aster J. They are both already confirmed for playoffs as well, so next week's battle doesn't have too much relevance in terms of whether or not I make playoffs, but we are still wanting to win that game because there's actually a chance we could still claim the #1 overall seed, which is my goal here in this league. So next week, we have a game against Magic Activator and the Memphis Grizzlies. He has had a roller coaster of a season, starting off like 0-3 and then won 4 in a row, and then he's just been all over the place. So hard to really get a read on him. I'll need to do a little bit of scouting to see what I'm up against here, but definitely plan to go all out and see if I can finish this season 7-2. So thanks for watching, guys. I apologize this video is up kind of late tonight. I'm sure a lot of you had already gone to sleep. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Please forgive, but I think we are about done here. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all next week as we take on Magic and try to advance to 7-2 before we begin that pursuit of my first championship. So have a good one, guys. Later.